Disobedient Boy. The village of Yumas sat nestled on the edge of the great forest, its mud-walled huts circled by thriving yam fields. The air here was sweet with the scent of wood smoke and kola nuts. But Yumas held a secret, a boundary respected by every man, woman, and child, the great river. It was the lifeblood of the land, yet it was also the domain of the Mami Wada, the water spirit, beautiful and deadly, who claimed the souls of the careless. In Yumas lived Chike, a boy whose spirit was as bright and restless as a trapped bird. He was loved dearly by his parents, Mama Eek and Papa Obi, who showered him with proverbs and wisdom. But Chike possessed one great flaw, a stubborn ear that listened only to his own heart. The warning, "Chike, my son," Mama Eek warned one humid afternoon, her voice stern as she pounded cassava, "you must listen to my words. Papa Obi and I are going to the distant market today. You must stay within the bounds of the village. And above all, do not, under the sun or the moon, go near the great river." Papa Obi, sharpening his hoe, added, "The riverbanks are slippery now, and the water is swollen. The spirits are hungry this season, my son. Stay far from the water's edge, or the Ioka, the evil water spirit, will pull you down to its dark hut forever." Chike nodded his head with a speed that spoke of impatience, his eyes already drifting towards the forbidden horizon. "Yes, Mama, yes, Papa, I will stay," he promised, though the word felt thin even to his own tongue. The temptation, as soon as his parents' figures disappeared down the winding path, a powerful curiosity, like a drumbeat in his chest, began to call him. The afternoon was long, and the village suddenly felt small and dull. He sat on the porch, playing with a carved goat, but the sound of the nearby river, a low, constant, murmuring hum, beckoned him. "They are only stories," Chike told himself, tossing the carved goat aside. "A grown man's way of keeping a child at home. How can a spirit pull you if you only stand near the bank? I will just dip my toes, just for a moment, to cool the heat." He crept past the last hut, his heart pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs. The path led him through thick reeds until, finally, the great river burst into view. It was more magnificent than he had ever imagined. The water was a deep, swirling green, and the air here was strangely cool, almost icy. Smooth, dark rocks jutted out, slick with moss. Throwing caution to the wind, Chike scrambled down to the river's edge. He dipped a hand into the water. It was startlingly cold, and yet, soothing. He stepped onto a flat, algae-covered stone, intending to only stand for a moment. The whisper and the capture. Just as he was about to draw his foot back, a sound reached him, not the roar of the current, but a soft, hypnotic melody. It was like the gentle ringing of a brass bell, and it seemed to come from under the water itself. "Little one," a voice whispered, smooth as polished ivory. "Come closer. The sun is hot, but the water here is like silk." Chike froze. The whisper was beautiful, yet it made the hairs on his arms stand up. He looked out at the churning water. In the center of the largest eddy, he saw it. It was a creature of horrifying beauty. It had the upper body of a tall, dark woman, adorned with shining scales instead of a wrapper. Her hair was a tangled, living mass of reeds and water lilies, and her eyes glowed with an unsettling, deep water green. This was no gentle Mami Wada. This was the Ioka, the malevolent spirit of the deep. The Ioka smiled, revealing teeth like tiny, sharp shells. She stretched out a hand that was webbed and pale. "You are a strong boy, Chike. You do not listen to foolish old tales. Come, let the river teach you true wisdom." Chike tried to run, but his feet felt like they were cast in mud. The spirit's voice had woven itself around him like a net. He looked back at the path, but it seemed impossibly far away. With a speed that defied the water, the Ioka lunged. Her webbed fingers closed around Chike's ankle, their grip cold as death. Chike let out a single, piercing scream, a sound swallowed instantly by the roaring water. He thrashed, crying out for his mama and papa, but the spirit was impossibly strong. She pulled him, effortlessly, off the slippery stone and into the dark, swirling heart of the great river. The water closed over his head. The last thing Chike saw, as the light of the sun vanished, was the spirit's terrible, triumphant smile. The river had claimed the boy who valued his own will above the wisdom of his ancestors. The sorrow of Yumas. When Papa Obi and Mama Eek returned, tired but happy, they found the village silent and Chike's carved goat lying abandoned on the dusty porch. They followed the trail of his small footprints, their hearts turning to stone with every step, until they reached the riverbank. There, they found a single, small sandal, Chike's. All of Yuma's mourned. For days, the elders beat the sorrowful drums, and the women sang dirges that echoed the endless flow of the great river. The story of Chike the Disobedient Boy became the most important lesson whispered by every hearth fire. The tale was a stark reminder that the world holds powers greater than a child's desire, and that the greatest strength is not stubbornness, but the wisdom to obey the words of those who love you. Would you like me to generate a moral lesson or a proverb that the village of Yumas uses to tell this story to their children?